Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Sacco, and today I'm going to be showing you part 2 of my guide to effectively raid as a tier 5 against Star-Lord. Now, for part 1, we went over classes and specializations. Part 2, we're going over raid skill loadouts, equipment to be wearing before fighting Star-Lord and Star-Lord himself. So let's get into it by looking at our spells. Now, over here on the top, you can notice that there's different tabs, and if you click Add Loadout, it will change these skills to be what you're going to use in these situations. Like if you're in PvP, you have different PvP loadout, you just gotta click Add Loadout, and you can change your skills any way you want. So I highly recommend changing your raid loadout and then clicking Add Loadout. I already have the skills I recommend highly that a druid would use when raiding Star-Lord. You have Sorrow 1, which is his heavy hitting skill, really blast Star-Lord in the face with this. You can use Drain 2 as well, they keep yourself healed up, but druid only has 6 skill slots, so I recommend just having Sorrow as your skill. You have Jin's Talent and Golem's Fortitude. These two skills used together. I explained what they do in part 1. And you have Barrier 2, which you get from the Adept class. It's kind of pricey though for a tier 5 to buy another tier 4 class if you don't already have it for a single skill. However, I do recommend Barrier 2, and it raises your defense and resistance up 25%. It's pretty good. Now we can go over to Berserk. I'm assuming you're going to be picking the Berserk class, and you're going to have the Berserk buff on your loadout up to your magic and attack, 25%, really good. And you can also, if you don't want to get Barrier 2, you can have Magic Boost, which is really good for raising up your magic attack, another 25%. This stacks with Jin's Talent and Berserker, giving you 100% extra magic damage. Really good. When you blast a star on his face, he's going to be taking a lot of damage. And then, of course, you have Omnistrike, which is a hidden gem of mine, which is almost exclusively for raiding. When used, it will lower your raid bosses' attack, magic, defense, and resistance down by 25% each. Now, the trick with Omnistrike is you might have to hit them a couple times with it. They get all the debuffs to proc, but I highly recommend using that skill. You get it from the Paladin class, Tier 2 Warrior. It's really cheap, no problem. I'm sure you can afford it. There it is, Omnistrike. You also get Osmostrike, but I recommend if you're a Majestic to use Osmostrike 2, which comes with the class itself. So, a trick in order to, instead of using your skill slots for these buffs, you could also use potions. Now, the potions are kind of annoying to get. You can only really get them from shops. So I recommend building a couple of shops. Make sure if you see potions, grab them, buy them up. Now, Barrier 2 is basically a defense tonic and a magic defense tonic in one. And when you drink these, they give you defense and res each, which is the same as using Barrier 2. So if you don't have that, you can drink these potions right before you start fighting the boss. Buff yourself up really good. Same with Magic Boost. You can drink a Magic Tonic. It does the same thing. Raises up your magic by 1. Now, with that being said, we can switch over to the Dragoon class. Check out that raid loadout. I already have the skills preset like before. Instead of Sorrow, we're using Dragon's Vengeance. Really hard-hitting skill. Make sure you kill a lot of dragons. Keep that boosted up. You got Bear's Might, Golem's Fortitude. Use them together. Instead of Magic Boost, you can use Warcry, which you get from the Warrior class, the starting Warrior class. That will raise up your attack skill by 25%. Really good. You can also have the Berserk, which I'm assuming you will be a subclass of Berserker. And you can also use Omnistrike as well. I recommend this for every class. Anyone who raids should be using Omnistrike. And if you're using Warcry but don't have it or don't want to use it, you could drink a attack potion. Does the same thing, you know. Gives you that that attack up. Really good, 25%. Really, really good. All right, now we can go over to Majestic, which is an interesting class because it has 8 skill slots instead of 6, so it'll be a lot better for raiding. You can have more of a selection of buffs and skills on there. You don't have to rely on the potions as much. Now we got Tri-Cut 2 here, but you can use whatever attack you want that is good with mana and also deals good damage. You can use like Earth Strike 2 if you're in the Earth Legion, or you can use you know, Flurry, whatever. And I also highly recommend using Osmostrike to keep you really healed up once you have the Berserk buff and Warcry buff going, and you have Bear's Might. Heals a lot. I think it heals maybe 25%, 50% of the damage you deal comes back as health. It's a good amount. You use Bear's Might Golem's Fortitude together, boom, boom. Barrier 2 if you have it. If not, you know, potion up. Warcry, because you're going to be a physical attacker. And if you're a Guardian instead of a Berserker, instead of a Berserk buff, you can use the Prism Wall buff. It give you that fire resistance when fighting Star-Lord. Combine that with all your resistance from your buffs, you're going to be laughing. Star-Lord's going to have trouble dealing damage to you. And of course, you use Omnistrike as well. Try to get those debuffs on him. Now, for gear, I recommend you getting a Yeti coat. You get that from Yeti. He spawns in snow biomes, rarely, but you know he'll spawn if you kill a lot of monsters. You can also, if you can't find a snow biome, you can use a Scroll of Chaos, which will make monsters from all weather patterns spawn. You know, pop a Scroll of Chaos, start beating up monsters. Hopefully you find a Yeti, get his Yeti coat. Even a common quality one is really good. It gives you 40 HP, which doubles to 80 in PvP. You get 90 defense resistance, really good. You have a water element, which gives you 50% resistance to water damage. It also gives you immunities to frozen, which one of Star-Lord's attacks can freeze you. If you wear this, you'll be fine. And then you got the defense down, temporary defense down immunity as well. Really good item. Also, you can get a Ring of Day, which comes from April Fool's boss. That's on April 1st. It's a one-day raid, but it can drop a Ring a Day. Highly recommend if you're close to being April 1st, you get this raid item. Really, really good. You can also get it from the raid boss in September. Gives you full immunities to defense and resistance downs, which also includes Bear's Might and Jin's talent. You won't be having those reductions from those buffs. Really, really good. Highly recommend getting that item if you can. Now we're going to talk about Star-Lord himself here. He has immunities to all the debuffs, burning, bleeding, frozen, whatever. Don't bother trying to do them. It's not going to affect him. You're better off just keep wailing on him, getting that damage in. But he does his own set of debuffs, which are kind of annoying. You have Bright Star, which is the attack he's going to be using the most. It causes blind, and honestly, blind is pretty annoying with this boss. The best way to deal with it is to drink a Cure-All potion. Get those from shops just like the rest of the potions. I don't think there is an accessory that lets you deal with blindness as a tier 5, but you know, if you are blind, you can use that time to drink potions or buff up your ward, whatever, keep yourself healed up, or you can just drink a Cure-All, because you don't want to be trying to swing at him and missing. You're just going to be wasting your mana, and you have a 50% chance to miss if you're blind, so I really don't recommend just swinging. So then we can have a Comet here. That's a water attack. I don't think it does water damage, so you can't resist it. However, it does cause freezing, but like I said, if you have the Yeti coat, you're fine. You don't have to worry about being frozen. You have Meteor. That's his fire move. It does fire damage. Have Prism Wall, or you can have the Flame Belt from the arena. You can put that on as an accessory, and you'll be having 50% less damage from that move. Meteor, also Quasar. That's his ultimate move. That's a 2-turn move. You'll see it coming, and it does heavy damage, so make sure your health is high. Maybe have your ward up or something when he's about to do this move. And then you have Shooting Star, which causes burning and blindness, which is annoying as well. You can, you know, like I said, drink the Cure-All potion, or you can have for more staff as a druid. If you have that, you'll be immune to burning as well. Pretty good. Now, that's about it for that. Now, when it comes to raiding Star-Lord, he has a good amount of health. He has, I believe he has 1.9 million health. So your goal is to do about 20 to 25% of his damage, of his health as damage. Then you're going to have some good loot drops. You can go all the way up to 50% of his health. That will give you the max amount of drops. Any more damage at 50% of his health, you're only going to get more experience. It's not worth it. Just leave some for the rest of your guildmates, whatever. So when you're fighting him, the first thing you want to do is just pop all your buffs and debuff him with Omnistrike before you even start hitting him. Make sure all your buffs are good, everything's up. Every time you do 1% of damage to him, his stats will raise up by 2%. So by the time he's at 50% health, he will have basically be twice as strong as he was when his fight first started. But that's only per battle. Like if he's almost dead and you're fighting him, his stats are going to be normal. And only go up as you're damaging him in that battle specifically. So you don't have to worry about him being half health and fighting him thinking, oh, he's twice as strong now, but he's not. And that's about it. So just make sure you keep hitting Star-Lord. The timer is 1 hour after every battle, but it starts counting down as you start the battle. So if your battle lasts 10 minutes, you're only going to have to wait 50 minutes after that to start another battle. So keep hitting Star-Lord, get those good drops, And hopefully you guys enjoy raiding more with my guide, and I'll see you around.